The Western Conference is as competitive as it's ever been this year in the NBA, with only a couple of games separating teams ranked 13th to 4th. But unlike in the Eastern Conference, which is tightly contested between the Celtics, the Bucks, and the Sixers, one team in the West is running away with it. And that is the Denver Nuggets. Why? Nikola Jokic, otherwise known by LeBron as Mr. Triple-Double, and otherwise known as, according to multiple MVP trackers, the soon-to-be back-to-back MVP. Yes, guys. Nikola Jokic might join Bill Russell, Wilt Chamberlain, and Larry Bird as the only players in NBA history to win 3 MVPs in a row. So, is he already one of the most talented players the league has ever seen? I certainly think so. The Nuggets currently sit at the first seed in the West and are over 4 games ahead of the Grizzlies, who are also comfortably ahead of the Kings in 3rd. Okay, the Nuggets' success isn't all down to Jokic. Aaron Gordon has been arguably playing at an all-star level this year, averaging nearly a career high in points and shooting a career high in field goal percentage and from the 3-point line. And Jamal Murray is looking back to his best after a justifiably rusty start, averaging just below 26 points, 7.5 assists, and shooting over 41% from 3 in his last 10 games. But Jokic, man, this is a near 7-footer who is averaging nearly 25 points, 11.5 rebounds, and just over 10 assists a game this season. If he keeps this up, he'll be the first center to average a triple-double in NBA history, and will join only Oscar Robertson and Russell Westbrook, who did it 4 times, to achieve such a feat. It really has kind of gotten to the point where we're taking his greatness and the talent he shows on a nightly basis for granted. So what can't this guy do? He's 6th in the league for field goal percentage, trailing players with way less attempts and who pretty much never shoot threes. I mean, look at some of the players behind him. Okongwu, Pirtle, Capella. These are players who never shoot in the mid-range, let alone from the 3-point line. Look at Claxton, for instance. He leads the league in field goal percentage at over 72%. Yet 85.1% of his shots are from a distance of less than 5 feet from the rim. Jokic? That number is 35.4%. His mid-range shot is 56.5% and his threes are at a career high of 40%. He averages 49% from catch and shoot shots and over 51.5% at pull-ups. And guess what? That's not even his game. As Jokic puts it in his own words,
basketball is, it's about teammates,
Yeah, and it shows. Jokic is joint 2nd in the league for assists at 10.2 assists per game, having played 10 more games than first place Harden. Some of the passes this guy as a 7-footer dishes out are ludicrous. I mean, look at this. The guy is literally tapping the ball to AG for a dunk as if it's a volleyball here. He literally makes a complete mockery out of the other team's entire defense sometimes with these penetrative no-look passes, and is completely defying the conventions of an NBA big man when he is the one throwing lob passes to his teammates, usually AG, to dunk. Oh, and another assist stat for you, he's 3rd in the league for assist percentage, which measures the percentage of teammate field goals a player assisted when on the floor. So to put it simply, Jokic accounts for nearly half of the Nuggets' total assists when he's on the floor at 42%. If it wasn't obvious enough, offensively, the guy has it all. You double team him and he'll have the vision and anticipation to throw it out wide to an open man. You leave him wide open, well, that would be pretty foolish because be it a shot or a floater, the chances are he's making it. And he leads the league in offensive rating this season at 124.7, which is the number of points produced by a player per 100 total individual possessions. Or as its creator Dean Oliver puts it, how many points a player is likely to generate when he tries. And this has always been the thing with Jokic. It's true that he's sometimes strangely too unselfish, a rare trait in the NBA. But when he's on it, man, this guy is a literal monster. Think back to March 2022, where Jokic has 16 points at the end of the 3rd quarter and the Nuggets are down 10 against the Pelicans. Then Malone decides to sub Jokic in at the 10:23 mark and the Nuggets eventually go on to win the game 138-130 in overtime, with Jokic scoring 30 points in the 4th quarter in overtime, finishing with a stat line of 46 points, 12 rebounds and 11 assists. If this guy really wanted to, he could average at least 30 a night. But that's what separates Jokic. similarly to the likes of LeBron and Luka, to the rest of the league. He can willingly score and assist on a consistent basis.
That's a tough shot. Jokic, backdoor cut, Jeff Green.
We know how good he is individually, but what exactly is he contributing to the Nuggets? Okay, well, aside from literally leading the team in scoring, rebounds, and assists, pretty much everything. And this is no disrespect to the team. With a record of 42 wins and 18 losses, arguably all their players are having a good season. But it's because of the impact Jokic has on the team. Without Jokic this year, the Nuggets have a record of 3 wins and 5 losses. And with him, they're 39-13. Come playoff time, it is imperative that Jokic is fit and healthy for the Nuggets for them to even stand a chance of going the whole way. Again, without disrespecting the likes of Jamal Murray and Aaron Gordon, the Nuggets are pretty much an average team without Jokic on the floor. Whether it be Murray and Joker in their two-man game down the stretch, or Jokic's no-look passes to Porter or KCP on the corners, or as many passes to a wide-open AG for a simple dunk, everything goes through Jokic, whether or not he's scoring or passing. For players having played 30 games or more, he leads the league in points per touches this season, and having broken the all-time NBA record in player efficiency rating last year at 32.85, he is once again leading the league in PER at 31.8. Sure, as many NBA fans love to do, you can grimace at advanced stats all you like, but they tell a lot of the story that goes unnoticed through the eye test, which by the way, Jokic passes as opposed to the opinions of many NBA fans. I mean, when have you ever seen a big man dish out passes like this?
This down here is going to be, what can he do there? Come on now, Joker, over the shoulder to will the...
Or have their own signature shot called the Sombor Shuffle. Through simply comparing two great players, sure, the eye test is arguably as important as stats, but when you're trying to articulate a player's influence on his respective team, stats tell the whole story. Jokic's impact on the Nuggets is almost unprecedented in the NBA. He's also leading the league in player impact estimate at 21.4, which measures a player all-round contribution through almost all the statistical categories shown in the box score, and ranks him ahead of Doncic and Embiid, who are tied for second, and Giannis, who is fourth. Sure, the Nuggets have a better all-round team this year than they did last year, with an overall fitter squad and very strong pickups in the recent trade deadline. But Jokic still elevates and improves his team arguably more than any other star player in the league. Yep, you guessed it. He's got the highest plus-minus in the league at plus 624, an insane statistic, and an individual net rating, which measures a team's point differential per 100 possessions at 14.3. Again, the highest in the league. Oh, and last one, he leads the league in triple-doubles by a distance with 22. And the Nuggets' record whenever he records a triple-double? 22-0. Nikola Jokic is a certified monster. Okay, and many of you will make the argument, oh, how can he be one of the most talented NBA players of all time when he hasn't even won a ring? Well, first off, there are tons of players that are up there in the conversations of being the best in their positions of all time without having won a single NBA title. John Stockton, Chris Paul, Charles Barkley, Karl Malone, Carmelo Anthony, the list goes on. Nikola Jokic literally turned 28 this month, and this is, in my opinion, the first time in his career he has actually got the pieces around him to win the championship. You can definitely argue he and the Nuggets had a good shot in the bubble, with Murray putting on an absolute clinic almost every other game. But that was a team with an all-star level Jokic, not an MVP level Jokic. And a team that had an underdeveloped MPJ coming off the bench. And even that year, they reached the Western Conference Finals, losing to a Lakers team that eventually went on to win the whole thing. The following 2 years, I don't think I really need to go into detail about the injuries and what Jokic had to put up with in both his playoffs. The starting lineups pretty much speak for themselves. People also love to talk about his defense, yet he is 10th in the league for defensive rating this year, which is the number of points a player allows per 100 possessions at 109.4, ahead of the likes of Drew Holiday and Paul George, who are pretty much all NBA level defenders. Am I saying Jokic is an all NBA level defender? Absolutely not. But he's an above average level defender who has improved year on year. Understandably, when you're that gifted and are playing at an MVP level, you're going to be criticized for something. With Giannis, it's his poor shooting. With Embiid, it's his reliance on free throws. And with Luka, it's also his defense. No matter how talented you are, someone is going to find something to criticize. That is the nature of today's NBA, and that certainly applies to Jokic. But I'd argue his unstoppable and all-rounded offensive abilities largely make up for his pretty exaggerated defensive limitations. So, everything is looking good for Jokic and the Nuggets. Barring Aaron Gordon's recent absence and Jamal Murray's injury pre-All-Star week, the Nuggets have had a largely fully fit squad. They've shown themselves to be one of the best teams on offense in the league, leading the league in three-point percentage at 39.5%, and have the second best offensive rating in the league at 117.7. Their defense is also starting to pick up recently, having risen to 13th in the league for defensive rating with a rating of 113.2, having been as high as the 20s only a few months ago. And their star player Jokic is in his prime, playing potentially the best basketball of his career, with arguably the best all-round team the Nuggets have ever assembled. So the pressure on Jokic to carry Denver to their first ever championship is bigger than ever. If Jokic does deliver a title, alongside winning a third straight MVP, he'll cement his name alongside the likes of Kareem, Wilt, Bill Russell and Shaq as some of the best centers to have ever played the game. He definitely has the talent to do it, but we all know from the aforementioned players that you need a lot more than just talent to win an NBA championship. If you guys enjoyed the video and want to see more NBA content like this on a weekly basis, please drop a like and subscribe to the channel. It goes a long way. Thanks. Have a good day.